Hello. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Lauren Fogelman of Business Success Solution, and we are here to help the accounting professionals be able to double their income working half the time. Today's topic is leads at scale, the best source of high quality clients for accounting firms. And my guest today is going to be Tom Pollen. But before we get into that, I'm going to give you some ideas as to what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to let you know his bio, and then we can get into the conversation. So what we're going to be talking about is if you want to be able to consistently generate high quality leads for your firm, we're going to definitely dive into that. If you're curious about how hybrid marketing and AI are able to accelerate results, and also we're going to touch on practical strategies of forming marketplace partnerships that actually are effective, proven, and work. So I suggest you get ready to take some notes because Tom is always very generous and shares a lot. And then we'll be able to let you know how to be able to get more information as we wrap up. A little bit about Tom. He's a multiple best-selling marketing author. He has clients in 151 cities worldwide. He works only 2 days a week from his seclusion on his private resort, and it's on the subtropical Sunshine Coast of Australia. And if you want to be able to find out more, you can go to Get Tom's Free Book, all one URL.com. So gettomsfreebook.com. It's also in the notes, so you can grab the link there. So Tom, okay, enough about that. Let's just jump into the conversation. I so am looking forward to what we're going to talk about today.
Oh, yeah, pleasure to be here. Thanks, Lauren. It's always fun meeting with you and shooting the breeze, and hopefully we can give value to your audience. It's a real practical ways.
And before we get into the conversation, can you tell me how you went down this path of helping business owners be able to generate leads for their businesses?
Right. Well, I mean, go back 30 years or so. I was promoting my own business and had to figure out the marketing. And, it worked so well that a lot of my clients were saying, hey, it's great what your consulting services, everything else give us, but we're really interested. How do you get so many clients? And so it was the marketplace coming to me saying, we appreciate what you do, but what's of more interest to us and what's of more value to us would be to tell us how you get so many clients on board. And when I looked at the surveys with businesses, the common in the top three needs, it was to do with funding and all sorts of things, but always in the top three needs expressed by business owners was marketing, was lead generation, was sales. So I pivoted from being a consultant to being an advisor and a teacher, if you like, of all things lead generation. Um, I'm attracted foolishly probably to the pointiest end of the business, which is very miserable, very accountable. You know if you won, you know if you lost, and that is how many new clients came on this week. So that to me is the raw edge of the business. It's where the rubber hits. There's no escaping. There's no hiding. Did you get a client? It's miserable. Did you not?
So there is definitely ROI that can be measured and tracked with the work that you're doing with your clients.
Correct. And it's easy to measure because how many new clients did you get this week?
Yep. Okay,
Right?
so as you were mentioning also, so many firm owners, if they're doing marketing at all, a lot of them say, well, it isn't working. And I know that they might be out there, they might be trying to get leads, but they don't
Mm,
really understand marketing. So they're making some common mistakes. And
right.
what are some of those common mistakes and any suggestions on how to go about fixing them?
Well, yeah, sure. Great question. I think in your space, you're working with people that provide services. So they provide advice, they provide services. It's not a physical product. So the biggest mistake that people make in your space is thinking that advertising will bring in new clients. And it's an easy thing to fall for because you just hire an agency and they run some ads, and the agencies typically go, look, I don't know if we can help you or not, but give us some money and we'll find out. And so they might run ads online, they might run ads offline and all sorts of different places. They're very good at running ads. And generally what happens is between the fourth and the sixth month is your clients will say to the agency, hey, this is not working. I'm sorry, but we're just not getting new clients in. So when you market a set of golf clubs or a house or a car, that's a very different style of marketing. You can use advertising to effectively market those physical objects, but it doesn't work when you market consultancy services or bookkeeping or accountancy services or business advisory services. The only marketing you will see that's effective and that's sustainable is by the big firms, the PricewaterhouseCoopers or the EYs of this world, and they do brand style advertising. They have the budget to do that. But most CPA firms of a mid or a lower size, smaller size, don't have the budget to do brand advertising. Um, it's called a share of mind approach. What your people need is they need something that's benefit rich, that contains very specific and is differentiated. So if you just and forget about advertising, the best form of marketing for your sector is through other people's existing networks. So CPAs would have often had successful relationship cross-marketing with legal firms, for example, where the client list is a commonality, whether they're entrepreneurs or whether they're executives, there's commonality, the demographics, and the cross-marketing between the legal services and the accountancy services can be very effective. Um, and there's lots of different ways you can do that. You can do that with surveys, you can do it with free offers, you can do it with free trials. But the key takeaway here is that advertising is going to burn a lot of your marketing budget, and it should be avoided. People do it because it's easy. Just pay some money and see what happens. So that's the biggest mistake.
Okay, so one of the things that you're talking about is really that marketing for commodities, widgets is different than it is for service-based businesses like bookkeeping and CPA tax firms. And
100%.
what you want to look at is take an approach that isn't traditional, like buying ads, and really look at things that are benefit driven and start to differentiate you from other options that are out there that clients can choose. And these days, clients can choose onshore, offshore, and tech solutions sometimes when
That's
they're
true.
making comparisons.
Right. So
So based on that, it sounds like a better approach would be cross-marketing. Is that pretty much right that I got it?
yeah, it is. You're 100% correct. So with cross marketing, um, so the source of prospects from cross marketing, the quality of that is elevated considerably when the prospect has joined the other person's network for a similar reason to why they might buy from you. So, for example, financial planners, people join the financial planners network because they want to sort their money out and maximize growth opportunities, etc. Very similar reason to why they might engage a CPA. So a financial planner who has your ideal clients, let's say they're all business owners, in their list would be a happy hunting ground for you to do marketing with, cross marketing. Someone who had business owners, your target market perhaps, or the demographics right, who is offering mindset solutions, personal development solutions, is not going to be a great source. Even though they have your ideal clients, the reason people have joined that network is for something that's completely disconnected from the why they might buy from you. And this is a critical point to make. A network that has your ideal clients who have joined that network for a reason which is not aligned to why they might buy from you will not be a happy hunting ground for you. And I know of professional joint venture managers, cross marketers who still miss this. So you've got to have both the demographic the same and the psychographic the same in order for cross marketing to work.
And I think that that's a really important point that's very rarely ever talked about. Because
Yeah,
I've been in network meetings where they say, oh, if you're a service-based business, connect with the pest control people because
right.
they're in offices all day long. But what you're telling us is that you want the demographics the same and the psychographics where they're gravitating because there's a commonality between you and them. So
And the commonality, as you've rightly pointed out, is beyond the demographics. It's the reason why they are there in that network.
mhm.
And if you want to, I can tell you that the second biggest problem is once people have nailed that and they understand that, the second biggest problem, mistake, is what I call Hugh Jackman marketing.
Can you say that again? What is it called?
Hugh Jackman marketing.
Which
Um,
means,
I need to explain, right? So true story, I'm having coffee with my wife one morning and I have this, I don't know, brain sneeze. And I say to her, hey, I'm curious, who do you think is the world's most irresistible man? She, of course, why you are, Tom. Yes, I said, yeah, bald, wrinkled, old. Who couldn't go for that, right? I said, no, I'm not buying. Sorry. Come on. Who is the world's most irresistible man? Anyway, we had a couple of goes at her. I suggested Roger Federer because she's a tennis fan. And oh, yes, Anyway, so we got to it. George Clooney. No, 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 no. And then she goes, oh, I know, Hugh Jackman. I said, oh, okay. So Hugh Jackman, what's most irresistible man? Well, what would you do? This is me, true story. I said to my wife, what would you do if there's a knock on the door right now and you put your coffee down, you went to the front door and you opened it up and it was Hugh Jackman. And he dropped to one knee and he held up a small red velvet box and he flipped the lid and there was a diamond ring sparkling there. And he said, look, you don't know me, but my name's Hugh Jackman. Would you make me the happiest man on earth? Would you run away with me and marry me? And well, there's a limousine waiting at the end of the drive, and we'll whisk you away to the helicopter, and we'll go to a Caribbean island. We'll live there the happy. What would you say to Hugh Jackman if he proposed to you like that? My wife puts her coffee down. She says to me, Tom, I'm sorry, but I'd run away with the guy. I mean, I asked the stupid question, so I deserve the answer. And I said to her, I don't think you need to apologize. She said, I just told you I'd run away with another man. Of course I need to apologize. I said, no, you really don't. Because if there was a knock at the front door right now and it was me, Tom, and I put my coffee down and I opened the door and it was Hugh Jackman and he, proposed to me, I'd run away and I'm not even gay. It's Hugh Jackman. So a lot of people practice Hugh Jackman marketing by not offering prospects a first date before their proposed marriage. We are not the commercially irresistible equivalent of Hugh Jackman. We shouldn't in our marketing go, hey, call this number or click this link and book a time to talk about your CPA needs or your business planning needs or anything else. That's Hugh Jackman marketing. It's too much, too soon. We need to invite prospects on a first date. So we've sorted out the fact that the happy hunting grounds are those networks where people have joined it for a similar reason to why they might buy from you. Now, instead of offering them a consult or a pre-client inquiry meeting, we just give them some free value. It's a downloadable guide. It's easy to opt in, first name, email address, and we wow the socks off them in that first date by giving them a lot of valuable ideas and tips. And that positions you as an expert, as a credible expert who's a giver, and therefore we invoke reciprocity. At that point, if they want to work with someone new, it's more likely to be you than their competitor who's still saying, phone this number to book a call and we'll talk, without practicing Hugh Jackman marketing. So you're getting interested, still suspects, not prospects, but you're getting people you suspect might be interested in your services onto your email list. And that they are the two biggest mistakes people make, and that's how you avoid making those two big mistakes.
and I'm sure that there are others that would go onto that list also, but with now that we've covered some of the mistakes, what is maybe that one source that you see is the best source of leads for business owners and people that have service-based businesses?
Right. And a simple answer is other people's email lists. So what you do is and it's very easy now, particularly with AI, but don't even need AI, just a Google search. So if I was a CPA and I was looking for prospective marketing partners, you probably want to hire someone to do this for you because it's not your core competency. But nevertheless, you can just go free download, um, legal advice, New York, if you happen to be in New York State or whatever. And you'll find a whole lot of people that are marketing, or business owner, if that's your target market, or executive or corporate, whatever your target market, put that in as well. So you'll find a whole lot of people instantly who are marketing into your target market with an offer which would be complementary or similar to your offer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they still have to be qualified. We have to know that these people are doing this with integrity. So you've got to have a look at their stuff, eat their dog food, and make sure it's okay. You have to figure out that, so in other words, they've got some integrity around what they're offering. You have to figure out if there is a person behind this brand offer. It's no good if it's an organization. It has to be an individual. So you have to check out the website and see if they're featured on the website. You don't want to deal with committees. It's painful. So you want one prospective decision maker to say, yes, I'd like to do some cross marketing with you. So you've got to make sure they're on they've got integrity around their offer. You've got to make sure that there's a person behind this, not a committee or an organization as such. You have to make sure that they're targeting the same demographic with the same psychographic. They should have covered that in the search criteria. And then you'll end up with a whole lot of people. And again, Hugh Jackman marketing applies. You just don't reach out to them and say, hey, my name's Tom. You don't know me, but would you like to get married? Would you like to do a joint venture? You get them onto your podcast, or you invoke reciprocation by offering to promote their free guide or whatever it is, their free webinar, their whatever they're free to your list. And the process of reciprocation will kick in, and they'll say, yeah, that'll be great. I mean, you've got to share it with your LinkedIn advisor, share it with your email list. It's free. It's good value. We check them out. They've got some integrity, we believe. And they'll say, yeah, that'd be great. What can I do for you?
Okay. So
And
yeah, go ahead, Tom.
yeah, so it's reciprocity, right? We are, unless people are sociopaths or narcissists, we want to keep the giving scoreboard around about the same, so that's what reciprocity is about. A neighbor calls me and says, do you want to come to dinner Friday night? And I say, yeah, it'd be great. And I want to check with my wife, but it'll be good. I say to my wife, George and Mary will invite us for dinner Friday night. Should we go? Yeah, we go. It'd be fun. What did they say to bring? I said, I asked that question. They said, don't bring anything. My wife says, Tom, they never mean that. You got to take stuff. So we take wine, we take chocolate, we take flowers. Why do we do that? Because of reciprocity. Because we have been, they've given us something generously, and so my wife feels we have to give back. Me, I've got Asperger's, I don't get it. But the next morning we have dinner, we give them all the stuff. The next morning there's a flower pot on the front because we gave them too much on the front doorstep. There's a flower pot. They've given something. This can go on forever, reciprocity, right? So in marketing, how that plays out is if you do something that helps someone with their marketing, they will want to do something to help you with your marketing.
Mm-hmm. And basically what I call that is the golden rule of marketing. So it's about you want to give before you can expect to get.
100%. And not everyone will reciprocate, but 2 out of 3 will.
And one of the things you did talk about is people's email list. Now, there's a lot of firm owners that really don't have an email list, or they're doing email marketing. Is there a way to still be able to activate that reciprocity without having an email list?
Well, it's difficult. Yes, there is. I mean, there are LinkedIn connections, there's other social media connections, perhaps. But the easiest, and my advice to people is if you don't have an email list, start because it's a gold mine. You essentially have 2 objectives with your marketing. One is to build an email list, and forget SMSs, forget WhatsApp, forget it. It's the email list is still reigns supreme in terms of reachability.
Mm-hmm.
So you start with it. I started the current business. Forerunner the current business, I started in 2008 with 8 email subscribers. So now we've got tens of thousands, but the important thing is to start. You have clients, right? They're in your email list. They should be. You should have the
Sure.
client emails at least. Start by offering them a weekly quote of the week. Just send a quote of the week, inspirational quote of the week out to your existing clients. Get them used to receiving emails from you that are inspirational, that are educational, that are helpful. And then you can slowly blend in, hey, as part of what we've done, we've discovered this resource. We think it might add value to you
Mm-hmm.
as a business owner, as a corporate or whatever. It's a free guide. It's from Lauren, and go get it, Tiger. And so you get them used to receiving partner offers. Again, make sure the offer has got integrity, that's valuable,
Sure.
that they would be happy to receive it. And so you slowly build your email list, and you build your email list around the strategy of giving away good quality free stuff. You don't build the strategy around the email list, you build the email list around the strategy. That's really important.
Perfect. So one of the things I know that you do at this point is a hybrid marketing approach. And
Right.
can you kind of walk us through that and why
Yeah.
it's something
Yeah.
that you are, definitely honing in on at this point.
Very, very keen on that. So the hybrid is we get the audience from other people's networks. They invite their subscribers to go to our landing page where they get a free book. Get Tom's free book is an example of it. You've got it in the show notes, I believe. But we have others as well. Point is this: there is a landing page. People can opt in with the first name and email address. That's all they need to do. It's a little bit of skin in the game. That's important, and they get something from us that's valuable. Now, 85% of your interested marketplace are not ready to buy. If we offer them a webinar or something where they're required to put too much skin in the game, they're not going to do that. We want to give this is not even a first date. It's like sit at the table of speed dating for 6 minutes and see if you like me, right? This is just put a little bit of a skin in the game. So by doing that, we capture probably close on 100% of the people that have even a passing interest, and those people are also ready to buy something from you. And they are now in your email list. That's the first part of the hybrid approach. We want to cater for people right across the spectrum of having a passing interest in what you do, who later on may become more serious buyers,
Right.
as well as those people that are ready to buy now. They're all on the email list and the landing page for the free giveaway. We then invite them and say to them, and they downloaded that, it's full of valuable tips, etc. We then invite them and say, hey, look, if you want to go to the next step, because we know you're interested in that because you downloaded this guide, here's a sub 15-minute on-demand webinar which explains how we work with our clients to bring this transformation about in their lives or businesses. And so we get 5% of those people who have opted into the downloadable guide registering for an important thing. They have to register for and attend the on-demand webinar, sub 15 minutes. And that content is not free valuable tips like the guide was. That content is the nuts and bolts of how we work with our clients. Here's the prices and here's the packaging. At the front, there's some case studies or testimonials to reinforce the fact that we can deliver on the promise. But now the rest of it is mechanics, which is, okay, so I'm interested. How does it all work? How do we meet face to face? Is it online? What are the price points? What are the packages? All of that is unpacked during that 15 minutes. Call to action at the end of that is to book a time to get married.
Okay, so what I have as far as the steps is that you want to connect with other people that have the same demographics and psychographics and be able to have that person go ahead and maybe inform their list or their community about something that you are offering, and it's a free, valuable offer. From that, realize that 85% of the people are just becoming aware of you. They are not ready to make any investment. They might be curious, or you might be answering a question that's top of their mind. Once you get those people looking at your free valuable offer, there's another invitation, and that's to listen to on-demand video of how you work with your clients. And at the end of that video, there's a call to action about the next step of let's have a conversation.
That's it. And every time the people who end up buying pass through about 5 different filters, a bit like a water filtering system that takes dirty polluted water and turns it into something that's pure and drinkable and healthy. That water filter will have a series of filters, and you put enough water in one end and you get pure drinking water out the other end. If you don't put enough water in, you get nothing out the other end, just drips. And if you don't have enough filters, you get a lot out the other end, but it's dirty. And that's very much like marketing. If you don't have enough filters in place, you end up with a lot of prospects, but they're not ready to buy or they don't have the money. You just waste time talking to people who you can't help yet. If you have enough filters in place, the people you talk to are ready to buy. They've confirmed they've got your money and their budget already, and they are prepared to make a decision at that meeting, yes or no. Yes is fine, no is fine, but if you make a decision, we can move forward together or move on. So that whole process is designed to filter people out. It's almost an anti-marketing process so that the people you spend your time with are people you can genuinely most likely help and who are ready to go ahead and buy.
And I agree with that approach. So one of the things that I'm a big fan of is remove your appointment calendar from your website because you want to go through some steps of pre-qualifying clients before they actually are able to book a meeting, simply because your time is so valuable. And you don't
Correct.
want to spend time with someone who really was never interested in moving forward anyway. So
Correct. Yeah.
this is a way to
So
be able to pre-qualify
uh,
them.
yeah, 100%. And just to clarify, my booking calendar is on my website, but you're not going to find it
Yeah.
unless you've gone through our filter process. All right. And the other thing is, I mean, every CPA in the world probably has a link somewhere on the website saying book a time to have to
Mm-hmm.
get married. We talk about getting married, right? Hugh Jackman marketing. So by having this on your website, you're essentially putting your hand up and going, we need you. And human psychology being what it is, as soon as someone feels that you need them more than they need you, everything from aversion to apathy kicks in. The thing that is most appealing and attractive to human beings is the things that they're not sure that they can have. Will I qualify?
Mm-hmm.
Will they take me on as a client? Am I the right fit? Do I have the money? Now, if it's impossible to get a thing like I don't want to be King of England for lots of reasons, but other than that, I can't be, right? So it's an impossible dream to be an astronaut and walk on the moon. Not going to happen. So I have no desire to try and extract that. But I might be able to beat my neighbor at tennis. I'd like to see, right? It might be possible. So the thing that we think we have to qualify for that might be a bit harder to get is psychologically far more attractive than the thing that we think we can have anytime.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I know is that, and you mentioned not all marketing is created equal. So there's a lot of firm owners that do marketing, not the advertising like on Google, but they're going to a lot of different network meetings.
All right.
And some meetings are more effective than others. So is there
Uh,
something you suggest so that they're actually more effective in finding marketing partners that are going to actually get some results and there's going to be a good ROI?
yeah. I mean, outside of networking meetings, do you mean?
Well, not all networking meetings are going to create great leads
No.
either.
Well,
So I think that
I,
it's more the
I,
strategy, whether it's a network meeting or something else.
well, with the net, I mean, I've covered the broad strategies in terms of OPN. If you're going to go to a networking meeting, and I personally have a pathological, passionate dislike of doing that. But I know some people enjoy it, and if you're someone who enjoys going to networking meetings, you should definitely do it. And I don't just have a business card, and a reverse of the card, I'd have the landing page URL for the free guide. I wouldn't be there pitching at a networking meeting saying we should talk about doing business. I would just be directing people to that landing page where they can opt into the list,
Mhm.
and then the automated process of getting them from the list to the webinar, it happens while you're asleep or on holiday. So it's a softly catchy monkey scenario. But I'm a big fan of scaling through leverage. So the assets that you put into place with a landing page, with the first step of the hybrid funnel, the second one, the 15-minute automatic guide, the console booking page with the filters every step of the way, driving traffic at scale to that hybrid funnel. I'm a fan of that because that can happen, as I said, while you're asleep or on holiday, once you've got the marketing partners lined up, and you can get a freelancer to do that part. So you can literally, if you do what I do, it's why part of the reason I can work a 2 day a week is that you have this all systemized, and you have a freelancer who initiates the whole process, and you can get a good freelancer in the Philippines to do 5 hours work for you every week for $50, and they're happy because they're working for you and maybe doing the gig economy, so they might be doing that for you, and they might be doing it for four or five other people, making good money, and you're sitting back just working with clients and having some days off.
And I think that scaling through leverage is definitely the way to go. Much better or effective sometimes than one-to-one conversations. One of the things with what you're talking about is that this can definitely be working while you're sleeping. Sometimes it could be like your ATM machine that's operating 24 hours and
Oh,
is available when you're taking time off. And part of the reason is because there's so much about what you're talking about, which can be systematized as well as automated at this point. Nobody needs to be in front of their computer or hands-on 24/7. It's more like
Yeah.
set it and forget it until you're ready to revise it.
100%. And you got to, it's the analogy I use for folks is, ask them a question, what's the hardest part about getting a train from A to B? And the answers might be, well, you've got to get the right locomotive driver, you've got to build the train, you've got to, whatever you want to do, get
Mm-hmm.
the right fuel. But the hardest part actually has nothing to do with the train, it's laying down the train tracks. And the train tracks are a metaphor for the systems, the processes, the procedures. And if you get that right, you can run 1,000 trains across that train track every day. And they don't go anywhere else. They arrive at a predetermined destination because you've done a good job of laying down the train tracks. And marketing and
Mm-hmm.
the systems around marketing is exactly like that. You do the hard work in laying down the landing page, downloadable guide, the emails taking people from that new subscriber status to a webinar attendee. From there, lay down the train tracks, do the hard work, and then I wouldn't say it's set it, forget it, but a lot of the heavy lifting has been done. Yeah, so I think you've summed it up really well. Probably because we do something very similar to what you do, right? So we're singing off the same hymn sheet here.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So with that being said, AI is changing the game in
Yeah,
so many ways. It is being very, very disruptive, has pros and cons. There's parts about it that people love. There's parts about it that people are really realizing isn't quite as effective as they first thought. So how would you suggest that AI comes into all of this and
right.
can be an advantage to your strategy as opposed to you sounding canned or that it's really AI talking and not a real person?
Yeah, it's kind of like chopping wood. I mean, you can get AI to chop your wood, but you're still going to have to sit there and make sure the parts that chop sits into your fireplace. So it's AI plus human. That's the way it works. And AI accelerates the writing of a landing page, accelerates the writing of a guide, accelerates the putting together of the PowerPoint for you to record for the online. So everything gets faster with AI. Where we're at right now is, like the wood chopping analogy, the AI is chopping all the wood. You've got to have a look at each piece and make sure it's going to fit in the fireplace. AI needs different iterations. They need fine tuning. Do this, X, Y, Z, boom. Oh, that's not quite right. Can you change this to this and this? Boom, off it goes again. Now that AI will get better and better and better, and those iterations will become less and less. We will get better at giving AI instructions, but right now we use AI to massively, massively, massively accelerate the creation of landing pages, of downloadable guides, of webinars, etc. So AI can shrink a task from, I would say, 30 hours down to 90 minutes. Phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And still, if you understand how to do the iterations, it'll still be your voice. Um,
Yes.
so, so that's where we use AI. We are starting to use AI in identification of marketing partners as well. It's very exciting how we can do that, and it's all about shrinking manpower hours from, by 80%, by 90%, by 95%. Still need the human touch.
Mm-hmm.
AI gives you the quantity, it gives you the speed. The human touch is going to give you the quality.
And I think along with that, AI has sometimes the ability to give you the right words when you might not be able to find them yourself. So instead of getting stuck on that word or how do you communicate this, AI can actually
Uh,
facilitate that
It,
process
it,
too.
it's incredible. And words are where a lot of people do get stuck. How do I articulate this in such a way that my marketplace
Mm-hmm.
will relate to it, that it's simple enough, that it's clear enough? I'm blown away with AI. We did a lot of work last year um, creating AI assistants for our clients. And initially, they say science advances funeral by funeral. Initially, I was like one of those old scientists going, yeah, I don't know about this. But as soon as I dived into it, I was just blown away with how the results were not just fast, but they were impressive.
With that being said, Tom, every time you and I talk, and we've known each other for many years now,
Yeah,
always an engaging conversation. It's great to be able to get the little nuances from someone who's like-minded as I am with being able to give before you can get in order
yeah,
to be able to do effective marketing for service-based businesses. And some of the things that we touched on is identifying and correcting some of the most common mistakes, that hybrid approach to lead generation that includes AI, human insight, as well as partnerships. That's the trifecta. Practical steps to find marketing partners and scale leads effectively. So can you go ahead and share the link for that free resource that you have again?
Sure, gettomsfreebook.com.
Perfect. Get Tom's free book. As he mentioned, he teaches about giving away a valuable free resource. He has one. He is doing what he is teaching you to do also. So follow his example and see how he has it all set up, if this is something that interests you. And if people want to find out more about how to be able to generate those qualified leads, doing something effective that you are helping other business owners with, how can they also reach out to you personally?
Look, they can always approach me via email. We really want to go to gettomsfreebook.com to get into the system to see how we migrate them from subscriber to on-demand webinar and go through the whole process. But they're always welcome to reach out personally. Tom at leadsology.guru, Guru, not guru as in someone to be looked up to and followed, but Guru. So Tom at leadsology.guru.
Perfect. And I just want to say for everybody that has been connecting with us, that's listening to this, I so appreciate you for joining us. This is Warren Fogelman with Business Success Solution, showing accounting firm owners how to be able to double their revenue working half the time.